Sargon of Akkad's recent video on Warhammer 40,000 is one of the most interesting cultural analyses he's done in years. He's right about why 40k endures, why it resonates now, and why it cuts deeper than most modern franchises. Warhammer works because it is not just entertainment, it's mythic. And Carl is absolutely right that chaos in Warhammer is not merely evil, but degenerative. It's parasitic upon what is already good. He's also right that the Imperium represents something recognisably Western. Duty, hierarchy, tradition, sacrifice, and the willingness to defend order even when that defence is costly, ugly or tragic. And yes, that still resonates with people precisely because so much of modern culture denies that such things are necessary at all. So far, so good. But here's where the argument begins to fracture. Carl openly admits that the imperial truth, the Emperor's secular, positivist atheism, was a lie. He admits that materialism was false. This is not a minor concession. And yet nothing solid is put in its place. Instead of metaphysical truth, we get rage. Instead of worship, defiance. Instead of God, a kind of sanctified humanity worshipping its own survival. Sargon needs to read C.S. Lewis's Space Trilogy, in which the villain Western personifies humanity worshipping its own survival. This is where Tzeench enters, not as a character, but as a principle. Tzeench is not the god of obvious lies. That's why he's so dangerous. According to Warhammer lore, Tzeench is the god of change, of mutation and subversion. The principle of Tzeench is therefore not to deny the truth, but to mutate it. The Chaos God is most happy, not when an individual rebels against truth, but when they devote themselves to a subtly mutated form of it. That mutated form of truth may rightly expose much which is objectively false, as long as that which is ultimately true remains denied. Exposing false metaphysics without submitting to true metaphysics is not anti-chaos, it's exactly how chaos advances. So Carl is right that the imperial truth was a lie. But the proper response to one metaphysical lie is not to replace it with a half-truth. Carl and Morgoth's article see in the popularity of 40k a right rejection of the chaos gods of our age, in their form of woke cultural revisionism. But we're still left wondering, if the Emperor was lying, why still fight for his cause? If part of that lie was the denial of metaphysics, which metaphysics is the West going to fight for? If the answer is for the sake of humanity and order, that's not the defeat of Tzeench, it's Tzeench's preferred outcome. Because the Chaos Gods do not fear order which has no ultimate grounding outside the human race's own will to survive. Perhaps I misheard him, but it sounded like Sargon was implicitly advocating an imperial intolerance, a hard line on forces which threaten the internal cohesion of the Imperium. Such intolerance of falsehood would only be justified if it was accompanied by a true, transcendent account of what man is, what corrupts him, and what perfects him. Without that, intolerance is no longer moral, it's merely force. In other words, it's merely the Chaos God Khorne. The fact is that no Imperium can truly survive if it cannot provide a satisfactory answer to the question on which all reality rests. For what purpose do all things exist? The attraction of the Space Marines is that they are noble supermen fighting for a noble cause. But if in reality this noble cause has at its foundation a massive question mark, is it really noble? 40k is compelling because it reproduces the noble striving of medieval Christianity, but without the transcendent truth which enabled that striving and prevented it from collapsing, it becomes simply striving for striving's sake. Only Christianity can provide that satisfactory answer to the question on which all reality rests. Carl sees the lie at the heart of the modernist project. But until he's willing to replace it with actual metaphysical truth, not just anger, not just humanity's survival, he remains trapped in the logic he thinks he's resisting. Tzeench doesn't need you to deny truth, he only needs you to stop halfway.